First in the spotlight tonight is the presenter Olivia Wayne. Her specialist subject, Roald Dahl's children's books. Next, the antiques expert, Philip Serrell. He'll be answering questions on the England rugby team. Richard McCourt, Dick, as in Dick and Don, takes as his subject the Manchester band New Order. And the poet Lemn Sissay on the great Bob Marley. Hello, and welcome to Celebrity Mastermind with me, John Humphrys, and four people who've achieved a lot over the years, but are now about to face a very different sort of challenge. The reward, a donation to charity. The risk, possible humiliation, but probably not. They get 90 seconds of questions on their specialist subject and 2 minutes of general knowledge. So let's ask our first contender to join us, please. And your name is?
Olivia Wayne.
Your chosen charity?
Marie Curie.
And your chosen subject?
Roald Dahl's children's books.
In 90 seconds, starting now, in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which of the golden ticket holders rashly puts a piece of gum containing a 3-course meal in her mouth and turns into a giant blueberry after chewing it?
Veruca Salt.
Violet. What is the name of the ramshackle building bought by the giraffe, the pelican and the monkey and turned into the offices of the ladderless window cleaning company?
The Grubber.
Yes, when the giant peach first grows in their garden, how much do Aunt Sponge and Aunt Spiker charge people to see it? They offer half price for children under 6 weeks old.
Pass.
What is the name of the monkey that the enormous crocodile meets while he is on his way through the jungle to the town to find a child to eat?
Muggle Rump.
Yes, what is the name of the woman who runs the orphanage from which the big friendly giant abducts Sophie?
Mrs. Clonker.
Yes, in George's Marvellous Medicine, George's grouchy old grandma complains that he's growing too fast. What does she tell him to eat less of to stop him growing?
Pass.
In which of Dahl's children's stories is Mr. Hoppy secretly in love with Mrs. Silver, who lives in the flat below him?
S.E.O. Trott.
Yes, what is the surname of Matilda, a precocious child who could read at the age of 3?
Wormwood.
Yes, when Danny and his father have successfully poached over 100 pheasants, they drop them off with the vicar's wife to be given away. What's her name?
Mrs. Clipper.
Mrs. Clipstone. When the Fox family are forced to dig for their lives because they're being starved out of their home, their tunnel comes out into a farmer's #1 chicken house. Which farmer?
Boggis.
Yes, after Mrs. Twitter's put her glass eye in her husband's mug of beer, what does he put in her bed in revenge?
A frog.
A frog is exactly right. He does. You had a couple of passes. In George's Marvellous Medicine, Grandma told George to stop eating chocolate. And the amount that Aunt Sponge and Aunt Spiker charged people to see the giant peach was 1 shilling. You have scored, Olivia, 7 points.
Okay.
And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Philip Serrell.
Your chosen charity?
St Richard's Hospice in Worcester.
And your chosen subject?
England rugby in the Six Nations from 2000 to the present day.
In 90 seconds, starting now. In 2008, who broke the rugby union record for international drop goals when he scored his 29th in a match for England against France in the Six Nations?
Johnny Wilkinson.
Yes, who was the head coach of the England team that won the Six Nations title in 2000 and 2001 and went on to win the Grand Slam in 2003?
Sir Clive Woodward.
Yes, in what year did England beat Ireland, Scotland and Wales to win the Triple Crown but lost the championship to the Irish on points difference?
2011.
14. Steve Thompson, Lee Mears and Dylan Hartley have all played for England at the Six Nations tournament. In which position?
Hookers.
Yep. In 2013, how many points did England score in their victory in Dublin? All of them were kicked by Owen Farrell.
12.
Yes. Who did England play in their opening game of the 2012 tournament? Chris Robshaw captained the side on his second appearance for his country.
Scotland.
Yep. Which second-row forward started all 5 matches for England in the 2016 Six Nations and helped England achieve the Grand Slam? He scored his first international try in their opening match.
Joe Launchbury.
No, George Cruz, who missed the entire 2000 tournament after he injured his Achilles tendon. He captained the team to the Six Nations title in 2001-2003.
Martin Johnson.
Yes, in 2001, England kept the Six Nations title but were denied the Grand Slam when they lost to Ireland in a match that had been rescheduled from March to October. For what reason?
Pass.
Since the year 2000, how many times have England won the Grand Slam in the Six Nations?
2.
Yep. Which England fullback was named as the 2014 Six Nations Player of the Championship? He scored 4 tries and conceded no penalties during the tournament.
Mike Brown.
Is correct. Just the one pass. They had to reschedule in 2001 because of an outbreak of foot and mouth disease.
Thank you.
I didn't even know rugby players got foot and mouth disease. Anyway, Philip, you've scored 8 points.
Thank you.
And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Richard McCourt.
Your chosen charity?
Alzheimer's Society.
And your chosen subject?
New Order.
New Order, the band, in 90 seconds. Which song released by New Order in 1983 is said to be the highest-selling 12-inch single of all time?
Blue Monday.
Yep, in September 2017, the band announced that they'd reached a settlement to their long-standing dispute with a former member of New Order. Who was he?
Peter Hook.
Yep. New Order's first 6 albums all had catalogue numbers divisible by 25. Which album had the number Fact 100?
Brotherhood.
Low Life. The cover of the album Power, Corruption and Lies is a reproduction of a painting by Henri Fantin-Latour and depicts which flowers?
Carnations.
Roses. All of the songs on the Peel Sessions recordings were written by the band, apart from one song written by the reggae star Keith Hudson. Which song?
586.
Turn the Heater On. Which 1989 album was the first by the band to top the UK album charts?
Technique.
Yep. Which New Order top 5 hit contains the lyric, I would like a place I could call my own, have a conversation on the telephone?
True Faith.
Regret. Following the death of singer Ian Curtis, which musician joined the remaining 3 members of Joy Division to form New Order?
Gillian Gilbert.
Yep. At which venue did the band play their first London gig in February 1981? Their performance was beset by a series of problems.
Heaven.
Yep. Which song has reached the top 10 of the singles chart twice, once on its initial release in 1987, then in a remixed version in 94?
True Faith.
Yep. The #1 hit single World in Motion was recorded with members of the England football squad and co-written by the band and which English comedian?
Keith Allen.
Yep. In December 1988, the band played their only UK concert of the year at the GMEX Centre, where they were supported by a certain ratio. And which other Manchester-based band also on Factory Records?
James.
Happy Mondays. No passes, Richard. You've scored 7 points.
Thank you.
It is tough, isn't it?
And our final contender, please. And your name is?
Lemn Sissay.
Your chosen charity?
The Lemn Sissay Foundation.
And your chosen subject?
Bob Marley.
Bob Marley, in 90 seconds. In 1972, Bob Marley signed with which record label owned by Chris Blackwell?
Island Records.
Yep. Marley consolidated his breakthrough in the UK with the release of his 1975 live album recorded at a London theatre. Which theatre?
The Lyceum.
Yep. Eric Clapton had an international hit in 1974 with I Shot the Sheriff. On which of Marley's studio albums did it originally appear?
Kaya.
Burning. What song, originally recorded in the 70s, was first released in 1992 on a collection called Songs of Freedom? A single version reached the top 5.
Redemption Song.
Iron Lion Zion. Marley was baptised into the Ethiopian Orthodox Church shortly before his death. What baptismal name that means Light of the Holy Trinity was he given?
Pass.
Marley performed at which country's Independence Day celebrations in April 1980?
Zimbabwe.
Yes. What nickname did Marley use as the name for his record label?
Tough Gong.
Yep. What name was given to Marley's trio of backing singers, Judy Mowat, Marcia Griffiths and Rita Marley?
The I3s.
Yes. What was the name of the controversial doctor who treated Marley at his clinic in Bavaria during his last illness?
Pass.
Which song from the 77 Exodus album, released as a single in 1980, includes the chorus, Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be all right?
Three Little Birds.
Yes, One Love is one of 4 hit singles from the Exodus album and is an interpretation of the song People Get Ready. Who wrote the original song?
Curtis Mayfield.
Yes, Marley's first top 10 single in the UK was a double A-side released in December 1977. Jamming was one of the songs. What was the other?
No Woman, No Cry.
Punky Reggae Party.
Yeah, great track.
Lemn, you had 2 passes. Joseph Issels was the name of that controversial doctor who treated him in Bavaria, and his baptismal name was Berhane Selassie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you have scored 7 points. Well, what a very close round that was. Let's have a look at all the scores. Joint second place, they all got 7 points. Olivia, Richard and Lem in first place at the moment with 8 points. Philip. So it is the general knowledge round now, and if there's a tie at the end of it, then the number of passes is taken into account, and the person with the fewer passes is the winner. So let's get on with it and ask Olivia to join us again, please. And your choice of your special subject, Roald Dahl. Fascinating books, aren't they? Because they're fantastical, but the central character is a normal person.
Yes.
And that makes them so different from, I don't know, lots of other fantastical books where everything is all slightly strange.
Not always, though.
Not always.
Hilda is not normal.
That's true.
Girl with a magic finger, not normal.
That is true. That is
So,
true. But,
what's your question?
But a lot of the characters, I mean, the principal character, James, as in James the Giant Peach, is normal. Charlie in the Chocolate Factory,
Yes.
a normal kid. And they're put into these fantastical situations.
I mean, they are. It's just, I think everyone in this audience knows a Roald Dahl book and probably has a favourite. And I just think, you know, it is your childhood. And I have a new baby, so kind of rereading and reliving them all has made me very excited for him to get to know those stories.
And reading to children has got to be one of the ultimate joys, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lucky you. Right, here we go. You've got 7 points, as almost everybody else, but now it is the breakthrough point, because this is the general knowledge round, and you get 2 minutes of questions here. So, here we go. Sprigs of what plant are traditionally hung up at Christmas for people to kiss beneath?
Holly.
Mistletoe. By what name is confectioner's sugar known in Britain? It's a fine white powder.
Icing sugar.
Yep, at the 2017 Oscar ceremony, La La Land was mistakenly announced as Best Picture. Which film was the actual winner of that award?
Moonlight.
Yes, which female singer topped the UK singles charts in 2000 with Oops, I Did It Again, and in 2004 with both Toxic and Every Time?
Britney Spears.
Yep, by what name is the outlaw who was shot dead by Marshal Pat Garrett in New Mexico in 1881 best known? His aliases include William H. Bonney Jr.
No idea.
In Britain, an artist who's a member of the RPS specialises in what art form?
Post.
Photography. The long-running play The Mousetrap was first staged in 1952. Who wrote it?
William Tell.
Agatha Christie. Which
not to
sport
pass.
has its origins in Central Asia, where mounted nomads played a version of the game, partly as sport and partly as preparation for war?
Lacrosse.
Polo. What vowel is represented by ... in International Morse Code?
Colon.
I. In the 2017 television series Genius, a Nobel Prize-winning scientist is played as a young man by Johnny Flynn and in later life by Geoffrey Rush. Which scientist?
Dr. Dolittle.
Albert Einstein. Which author had 36 plays published in 1623 in the so-called First Folio, collected by the actors John Hemming and Henry Condell?
Shakespeare.
Yes. What is the name of Latin origin for the watery fluid in the mouth of humans and other vertebrates that helps with the swallowing and digestion of chewed food?
Saliva.
Yes. Which former leader of the Liberal Democrats published his account of the coalition years, politics between the extremes, in 2016?
George Brown.
Nick Clegg. Holy Island off the coast of Northumberland is known by what alternative name? I can tell you. If
Please
you
do, 'cause
struggle.
I know you're gonna guess.
I will. That will make that one of your passes.
Thank you.
Lindisfarne is the
wouldn't
name,
have got
right?
it,
And the outlaw shot dead by Pat Garrett was Billy the Kid.
Oh.
There you go. You now have a total, Olivia, of 12 points. And now, Richard, again, please. call you Richard. I mean, Dick. Are you
Yes.
really? I mean, has everybody called you Dick apart from...
No, only friends and family.
Only friends and family.
Yeah.
But you're Dick because you're half of Dick and Dom.
Yes.
And your better half, your other half,
Yes.
is actually here in the studio.
He is.
He is.
Moral support.
There he is. Bit of moral support. Look, you've been together, as it were, for...
21 years this year.
Is it really
Yeah,
21
yeah.
years?
I mean, you know, 21 years together. We're still going strong. Fingers crossed it's another 21 years. Who knows?
Well, I don't know about that, because I've been getting on really well with Tom and Paul over here. They're great. We've been having such a good time, haven't we, lads?
Leave him alone, he's mine.
Who would you choose as your alternative partner, if you had to?
You, John. I mean...
Oh, well... I'll... Thank you very much.
Today with Dick and John.
You're on. We'll discuss terms later. Right, here we go. You've got 7 points.
Yep.
So, score to beat is 12 at the moment. Let's see how you do. 2 minutes of general knowledge starting now. Insomnia is a difficulty or inability to do what?
Not be able to sleep.
Yes. The headquarters of the United Nations are in which city?
New York.
Yep. What sort of broad-brimmed, high-crowned felt hat, particularly associated with Mexico and Spain, takes its name from the Spanish for shade?
A red cloak.
Sombrero. In which television programme does a celebrity panel try and guess, through a series of clues, who lives in the houses shown on camera?
Through the keyhole.
Yep. What animal, it's commonly kept as a pet, has long-eared breeds called English Lop, French Lop and Holland Lop?
A dog.
Rabbits. What name is given to the centre of a target in darts and archery?
Bullseye.
Yep. In what 2017 film does Tom Cruise play Barry Seal, a pilot and drug runner who covertly worked for the American government during the 80s?
Top Gun.
American Made. In which Cornish resort is there a branch of the Tate Gallery and a museum dedicated to the sculptor Barbara Hepworth?
Truro.
St Ives. By what title were the emperors who ruled Germany from 1871 to 1918 known?
The Jarses.
Kaiser. Carrie Fisher's The Princess Diarist, published in 2016, is a behind-the-scenes account of what happened on the set of a famous 1977 film. Which film?
Empire Strikes Back.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
What is the name of the actor who came to fame as Basil Brush's straight man and went on to play Private Secretary Bernard Woolley in Yes Minister and its sequel?
Jeffrey Durham.
Derek Fowles. London Zoo and Queen Mary's Gardens are features of which of London's royal parks?
Regent's Park.
Yep. What name that comes from the Latin word meaning for and the Greek for life is given to live bacteria that are added to yogurts or taken as food supplements and are promoted as having health benefits?
Probiotics.
No, probiotics.
Probiotics.
Which singer, sometimes known as Alf, began her career in the early 80s with Vince Clarke in the duo Yazoo?
Scylla.
Alison Moyet. In what winter sport takes its name from the French for sledge do competitors race down an icy course lying on their backs feet first?
Tobogganing.
The Luge. What completes the title of the comedy play that ended its record 16-year run in the West End in 1987? No sex, please wear...
British.
British is exactly right. Richard, you shot up to 13 points.
Thank you.
And now Lemn again, please. And your poetry, wonderful stuff, has to be said. Poems in public spaces.
Yes.
That's, in a sense, what you're about. I wonder whether you fit the poem to the space or whether the space inspires the poem.
We'll all be singing a poem at Christmas. We'll be singing In the Bleak Midwinter by Christina Rossetti.
Yeah.
You know, so poetry is actually around us all of the time. So why not on the walls and the places and the spaces of our cities and towns and villages? And yeah, poetry is about... It is about the space that we're in, whether that's a physical space or an internal one. And when you see it in public, it reminds you that there are greater things in our environment than adverts.
Why do we not read, most of us, do we not read poetry?
I believe that we are reading more poetry now since the beginning of time because there are more words going between more people now since the beginning of time. Twitter, Facebook, the internet is allowing people to communicate through words. There is more transference of words between more people now since the beginning of time. So that has got to be a great advert. It's a good time for words, man.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Since that's the business we're both in, and you in a rather more creative way than me, admittedly. But there we go. You've got 7 points at the moment. 13 is the score to beat. So let's see how you do with your general knowledge. Here we go. What is the capital and largest city of Denmark?
Copenhagen.
Yes. Prisoner and Escort was the pilot for a 1970s television comedy series starring Ronnie Barker. Which series?
Pass.
Which island in the Irish Sea off the coast of northwest England is known as Ellen Vannin in its local Gaelic language?
Island.
Isle of Man. Which former jockey who wrote thrillers with a racing background is the author of Lester Piggott's official biography?
Dick Francis.
Yep. What means of transport is the subject of J.M.W. Turner's 1844 painting Rain, Steam and Speed?
The train.
Railway engine.
Railway engine.
Which region of Italy has been called Chianti-Shire because of its popularity with English holidaymakers and expats?
Rome.
Tuscany. Which political party that was founded in 1981 and disbanded in 1990 was known by the initials SDP?
I pass.
What term commonly used in golf means an advantage or disadvantage given to sporting competitors to even out their chances of winning?
Birdie.
Handicap. Which legendary film star's early life did Misty Rowe portray in the 1976 film Goodbye, Norma Jean?
Marilyn Monroe.
Yep. What creatures are Barbara, Celeste and Arthur in the children's books by Jean de Brenoff?
Lion.
Elephants. According to the title of Prince's 1985 top 10 hit, what colour was his little Corvette?
Red.
Yep. What name is given to the faintly luminous band of billions of stars in our galaxy that stretches across the night sky?
The Galaxy.
The Milky Way. Which soup, usually served chilled, is now most familiar in its Andalusian version and consists of an uncooked mixture of oil, garlic, tomatoes and cucumber thickened with breadcrumbs?
Vichyssoise.
Gazpacho. In which Rodgers and Hammerstein musical does Bloody Mary, a local entrepreneur, sing about the magical island of Ballyhigh?
Pass.
In geography, what may be described as active, dormant or extinct?
Volcano.
Yep. Which American vocal group reached #1 in the UK singles charts in 1977 with Chanson d'amour?
Bob Marley.
The Manhattan Transfer. Yeah, nor me. Anyway, 3 passes. South Pacific was the Rodgers and Hammerstein musical. Ballyhigh. SDP stands for Social Democratic Party, which you knew.
Sorry.
And Prisoner and Escort was a pilot for Porridge.
Of course.
You've got, Lem, 13 points.
Thank you.
And now, Philip, again, finally, please. And you've been an auctioneer. Well, you've been doing bargain hunt, let's put it that way,
Yeah.
for, was it 13 years or something?
Oh, I think 1999, I think it all started.
Yeah.
I wasn't an antique then.
Long time. Are we ever going to run out of things that we see and want to buy and can sell for a profit? Is that whole cycle ever going to come to an end?
No, because I think antiques and collectibles are a conveyor belt. When I started, antiques were seen as the preserve of sort of wealthy people and dealers. But now it's there for everyone. That's a good thing.
What's a collectible? Is anything a collectible?
I think the answer is if you can sell it, it's a collectible. And if you can't, it isn't.
Well, that's logical, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You got 8 points. The score to beat is still 13.
Oh, dear.
Here we go, anyway. 2 minutes of general knowledge starting now. Wolfgang Amadeus were 2 of the 4 names of an 18th century composer who...
Mozart.
Yep, the males of which table bird make a noise that's often described as gobbling.
Turkeys.
Yep. What is the largest of the 5 Great Lakes of North America?
Oregon.
Superior. Which consumer champion presented the programme That's Life from 1973 to 94, helped by a team of mostly male reporters?
Esther Ranson.
Yep, Gavin Maxwell's Ring of Bright Water trilogy tells of his life with some animals on the remote west coast of Scotland. What animals?
Otters.
Yep. What was the mission number of the last Apollo spacecraft to land men on the moon in December 1972?
12.
17. Which chapel in the Vatican, named after the Pope in whose reign it was built, has famous ceiling frescoes painted by Michelangelo that show scenes from Genesis?
Sistine.
Yep. The 1948 film Key Largo was the last of the 4 screen appearances made by Humphrey Bogart with his wife. What's her name?
Betty Bacall.
Yes, Laurent Bacall. What is the name of the castle near Leipzig that was used to house Allied prisoners who had a record of previous escape attempts during the Second World War?
Pass.
What part of the dong is luminous, according to the title of Edward Lear's nonsense poem?
Ding.
No, his nose. Which classic Beatles album returned to the top of the UK charts in June 2017 when it was re-released to commemorate the record's 50th birthday?
Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band.
Yes. Which football club moved from the Com de l'Écor Stadium to its present home, the Com Nou Stadium, in 1957?
Barcelona.
Yes. Which English scientist, noted for his theory of evolution, described man's probable ancestor as a hairy quadruped furnished with a tail and pointed ears, probably arboreal in its habits?
Charles Darwin.
Yep. Roll mops are made from fillets of what saltwater fish?
Herring.
Yep. Which London theatre, famous for its pantomimes, opened in Argyle Street on Boxing Day in 1910? It has staged the Royal Variety performance on many occasions.
Palladium.
Yep. Which English city in the Midlands has suburbs that include Ladywood, Selly Oak and Edgbaston?
Birmingham.
Is correct. One pass, the name of that castle near Leipzig, used to house Allied prisoners, Colditz. However, Philip, you have scored a total of 20 points. Which means, of course, that Philip is the winner. Let's have a look at all of those scores. Fourth place, 12 points, Olivia. Joint second place, 13 points apiece, Richard and Lemn. And first place, of course, with 20 points, Philip. Come and get it. Congratulations, Philip. And the entirely obvious question, is that a collectible?
Very definitely. I mean, it's certainly... well, it is in my house.
But the value?
Priceless.
Priceless. And I didn't even plan that answer. But look, you don't have to be a celebrity to take part in the regular Mastermind. If you would like to appear in the next series on BBC Two, then do visit us online at bbc.co.uk/mastermind, and you can follow us on Twitter at Mastermind Quiz. Either way, do join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. Philip, off you go.